What's up, everybody? I'm your host, D. Holkey, and you are watching Fantasy Overwatch Underground, where I watch too much contenders and prepare for the OWL 2022 season. Today, we are reviewing the final pieces of the Hangzhou Spark rookie team. I was going to say duo. I guess I can say backline support duo. And we are going through Irony and Superich. So super rich, they're investing in only the finer things, as the Spark always do. But in this case, maybe the finer things are a little bit overpriced, maybe a little bit rich for my taste. A little bit out of puns, but it's time to dig in to a team and a backline that I am not overly excited about. They're nothing terrible, but they're not my favorite either. So if I'm ranking flex supports, I absolutely love Monk and Faraway. I think you all know that. I don't have Monk or Faraway levels of excitement for Irony, despite the 3K in the background. Superich has been a mainstay on Team CC through their best times and their mediocre times with a pretty nasty Brig. But we're going to get into some of the messier points here, why this duo is fine, but nothing I'm calling a top tier flex support duo. Let's do it. We are once more back to the Team Chaser versus Billy Gaming final. I promise I watch more than just this match over and over again. I've seen Irony in other matchups look like what I think is probably the best flex support currently in contenders. Honestly, Kyo from Chaser also looks really solid. I rate them very similarly. I have, so he's good. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I haven't found myself that excited about the Chinese flex supports this go around. This particular play is, I think, a nice one. It's a common battle you often see where the Winston is trying to avoid the sleep dart, and in this case, X-Ray loses. X-Ray, decent but not amazing main tank player with a lot of experience, plays a lot of monkey, so he's no slouch on the hero. As we go to slow-mo, you see Irony landing the sleep dart on him, as you might hope, neutralizing the threat, and at the same time, Alpha Yi is in the front line doing his thing on the Echo. Going back one more time, you see this in OWL a fair amount. You see this in any competitive level play, even probably your ladder games, the dance. How do I make sure I get my bubble lined up well? X-Ray spends a little bit too long hanging around inside the bubble, and Irony absolutely makes him pay for it. Patient enough to not waste it. Nice sleep dart. Back to King's Row with Team Chaser up to 0. Irony hits a very nice nade here and basically single-handedly shuts down Team Chaser's attack. Team Chaser you'll see here, they're in an overtime attack. They have this time bank against them. And the first time around when they did this, they took the first point right away with this same comp and this same movement. So Irony's ready for it. It's not some, amazing anticipation on his part, but he does kind of thread the needle here between a Diva Matrix, a Mei Wall. He gets 3 purple, and, Lynx is not going to be able to keep everybody alive through that with his lamp. So lamp goes down, and the team gets taken out instantaneously. Less fantastic just because this is the exact same rotation that they did before. But I like to see an Ana making the team pay when they can anticipate, especially with so many obstacles in the way. Irony is, however, a little bit rough around the edges. I do in general like his Ana play, but here he dies, in my opinion, unnecessarily. We're going to slow down and look, but he dies first, and the team kind of just collapses thereafter. And they had that huge time bank, and they almost wasted all away here. So going back to why I don't like this play, I get the idea behind it. I slow things down just a little bit. Irony gets the POV and nanos his buddy 800, and then he runs into the house, and as we go off screen, he's just dead. We'll slow down just a little bit more and watch it one more time. As he peeks the corner, he does a little bit more than peek. You got to be careful when you're nanoing that Winston, and when you get this kind of view and keep moving, against a good team, you're probably going to die. In the kill feed, we see him take a whip shot. A Prit is there, and for him to die that quickly would have had to have landed a left click. And between a left click and a whip shot, you're going to go down quickly. It's a little bit of clumsy positioning, and it's not so much like he made a bad decision. Going through house is a logical decision. He might be trying to go for a backdoor nade or something, but if you're not going to be following your tank in, you've got to be a little bit more careful and just, whether it's slow reaction time or, a little bit of, I don't know the right word. It's not laziness, but kind of mindlessness. Just goes a little bit too far and doesn't react, and that's what kills him. I don't like it. Now we travel back in time to 2020, where we have Team CC at their height with a stacked roster: Superich, 1987, Liga, Gaga, Dia Innovation. I absolutely loved watching this team last year. Their epic final against Flag Gaming. I was catching up a little bit to see. I had a lot of notes last year when I was looking at this team, and Superich on the Brig did regularly impress me. Winter is by no means a bad player. I rated him actually similarly to Banana Ran last year. And, I liked him. Maybe he's worthy of owl, maybe not. But, not the most exciting of players back in 2020. Solid, though. And Superich on the Brig is always where he needs to be. When I see a player like him on Brig just regularly shutting things down, gives me a little bit more comfort that flex support is going to be all right. For my questioning about Irony, I think Superich's experience. He's 21 years old. He's been playing since 2016. He's as experienced as one gets. Irony's a younger player with less experience. I think in that regard, Superich will be a nice pairing for him if he gets to play that Brig, and if overconfident and aggressive Genjis are trying to dash into the backline as Winter does here. In this match, Superich really making Winter's life miserable, and when he finally does get the blade after 2 minutes, instantly gets deleted. He gets stunned somewhere in there, and I believe that is the Brig coming in there for the stun. Nice play from Superich, keeping an eye out for 1987. If I go back in time even further on wonderful 480p on Bilibili Gaming, we get Superich under his alternate moniker here, playing still for Team CC, but this is how far back this guy goes. He's played on the same team here as Fearless and Sia in the rendition that predated Gaga by a little bit, and also Liga, as we saw in the last clip. So he's been around a while. We don't see him on Baptiste too much. Now, he has done it. He's done that double flex support combo with Farway and been pretty successful at it, but I've not seen enough of his bat play to have a strong opinion. He has not played it recently in the past couple of years, as I've seen, at least not in a high volume, and I'm definitely a little bit skeptical as to whether that BAP would stand up in owl level competition. He's at least done it, though. On that same team, seen a fair amount of his Lucio as well, and this guy is, I don't know. Once again, it's a little bit tough for me. I've not watched probably enough of him to get a really, really good opinion, but I've seen enough to know that his beats are a little bit questionable, and I've not seen kind of those murderous sprees that, get me excited about Lucio's, of the FD God or Lee Jae-gon variety. Yeah, he's around where he needs to be. He charges his ult at a reasonable rate, but time and time again, there's beats that are used on cooldown. Like the pattern I've seen is beats on cooldown, and in this case, he's beating into a 6v4. Granted, there's a Blizzard out there, there's an opposing beat, but it feels like one that he probably could have saved, and, I guess, come to think of it, like they're up 99-0. What else are you going to do? I like to see perfection, and I guess here he's just making sure they win, but a lot of beats, just, ones I don't get overly excited about. Speaking of, and fast forwarding back to 2021, as CC is a, mid-tier team in Korean contenders, Superich continues to have some questionable beats. In this particular matchup against BM Hawk, although really got the better of him over and over again. And in this particular case, Superich, I think he wastes the beat. They're doing what they can on attack to try and make some progress. But if we slow this one down and look, he gets beat. It's, shortly after cooldown, he's using it. Now we see Innovation is down, so they're in a 5v6. Someone goes down, and Superich is trying to time the beat along with Lamp to keep someone alive. And it just doesn't happen. You know, a little bit tough to tell what exactly happens here. He kind of sort of gets the beat off right as someone is going down and just, doesn't work. Waste the ult, and at a time when Team CC really needed to try and move things forward too, in a series where they struggled and lost in the playoffs against BM Hawk. Although I do like his Brig, in 2021, we've seen him get bested by Korean contenders, some of their best. And in this particular case, thanks YouTube, if we go back just a little bit, we see although take down Aim God, and then at the same time, he also sticks Superich. It's hard to blame Superich in this particular scenario, although is just looking amazing in this matchup, although very dangerous on the Tracer. In his own right, I'm excited to see him get an Owl, and may have to do a video even though he's not technically a rookie, but looking very dangerous. He gets that extra blink in there. If I back up one more time, I got to do this slow motion and talk through it very slow here. He comes in and, gets an aggressive positioning, and instead of immediately firing, he uses that extra blink. I love the extra blink. Uses that to sneak in some damage and not take too much of his own. And then as his health is getting down and he looks like he's in a bad spot, smart use of the recall. He hangs around just long enough, has Pulse Bomb, and Superich is just, he's a step behind. It's not that he's bad. He's making good plays, but he's just a slight step behind Although. I think it's more props to Although than it is saying Superich is bad. But if I'm trying to compare this guy to the top tier Tracers he will be playing against, I don't think his Brig is going to be league best or anything. It's solid. It's good. It's his best hero. But, once again, we're not saying he's going to come into the league as the best Brig. Some closing thoughts here on the support duo. We've got a main support in Superich with a lot of experience, really solid Brig, plays a little bit of BAP, but has a little bit of an uninspiring Lucio. And though I didn't show any of his Mercy, it's fine. Nothing that I get Nisha or Yveltal excited about. But he's got a lot of experience, and he's supporting a younger flex support with, some chops, made some good plays, has been on the top tier of Chinese play here in the recent future, but doesn't have the same pedigree or, eye-popping abilities that Monk or Farway in the region have previously had. As a little bit of a red flag, Team CC throughout 2021 has been splitting a lot of time with all their players. They have a huge roster, uncommon, especially for contenders teams, and Superich and Aim God have been splitting time with Aiden and Half. And while I think they do look better than the other two players, it's just a little bit of a question mark for me. Not enough to really be concerned about it. End of the day, I think the Spark, once more going into the year, have an interesting roster. I think a little bit less volatility, given that is a slightly more Chinese roster, and the Korean players have more of a background on Chinese rosters, such as Architect, Irony, and I don't know, maybe one other I'm forgetting about. At least a history of playing with Chinese players, and I expect less volatility, more coachability, and probably a little bit more stability. What does that mean? Does that mean they're going to be good? I don't know. I think this team has a lower potential ceiling, but also a higher potential floor from what we saw last year in some of the lapses that they had. So all things considered, I think the Spark are fine, but I'm not overly excited, at least about the backline, where I kind of see them as a below average, but not league worst support duo line. I could see them being that low. I don't rate them that low to start, but I could see it happening. I highly doubt they're seen as one of the elite backlines at any point during the season. Hope this analysis is somewhat helpful in evaluating the Spark. Nobody asked for this one. Not a single person requested Superich or Irony, but like I've said, I'm here for me. I want to review these players, and as I was going through Chinese contenders, I want to make sure I got as good a read as possible on these guys. So, hope you enjoyed. We'll talk soon. I am probably out of Chinese contenders. I may or may not have a special guest that I'm excited about for next week to break up the monotony of these clips and hopefully bring a little bit of a different flavor. Details pending, but should hopefully be a lot of fun. I'll leave you with that teaser, and we'll talk soon. Another video coming soon. Have a good one, everyone. Hope you're hanging in there, surviving the COVID spikes, doing well yourself, and looking forward to any questions or comments you have. You know where to find me.